In this video, I'm going to teach you how to make organic house like this. Hi, I'm Vlad and I help musicians to turn their passion for making music into a real business without spending years on figuring things out, stressing and overthinking. And before we start with the tutorial, guys, if you need help, if you feel like you're stuck, you are not progressing, your tracks just don't sound as good as your favorite artist tracks. So if you want to become a full-time music producer, just click the link down below, book a time for a free strategy call, and let's work on your music together. Alright, so I'm gonna start with the low and the kick, the bass as usual, and in this track the bass line, it's very simple. So as you can see, we are utilizing the root note of this track, and the bass line sounds like this. Really simple. But now, guys, let me explain what happens if you have too many notes, not really outside of the scale, but just too many notes that are not the root note of the track. So let's imagine that this is your bass line, so it's going to represent what we've had in the project. So this is just one note, the root note. And if you want to add melodies, pads, some more melodic elements on top of that, it's really easy because it's like a drone, right? Because it's just the root note. It sounds good. And now look at this picture. So this is what happens when you have too many additional notes, I would say. So if your pattern looks something like this, it might be a problem. So let me introduce a rule for a perfect bass line. It's really simple. It's 80-20. The 80% is the root note of your track, and other 20% can be additional notes on your bass line, right? But if you do more than 20%, it basically just going to look like this, and even on the picture it looks ugly, right? And that is why it's sometimes better to utilize the root note, because it's simpler to add more melodies on top of that. Alright guys, so now let's move to the melodic elements, and I'm going to start with some atmospheric sounds like this one, for example, these two. So and let's play this one. And this one is just a fifth. So the purpose of having atmospheric elements in your tracks is to add more depth to your tracks. So basically what we want to do, we want to create some nice additional layers. So let's call this atmos, and it's just, you know, pads, effects, long sounds, and similar kinds of stuff that could go into the Atmos group. And this is basically just like a pillow, let's call it like a pillow. And if you listen just to the kick and the bass, it sounds a bit empty. And now let's add atmospheric sounds. And I'm gonna add one more pad. So you can really hear that, first of all, it adds movement, it adds depth, and it just makes your track more interesting, I would say, because you have more layers, and it's fairly simple because it's just the drone which plays the root note of the track, and it's not just like one additional melody that just takes space in your mix. It's really simple, but it makes a lot of sense. So I hope you guys get the idea with the atmospheric sounds. And now let's talk about the ARP. And the ARP sounds like this, and you can see the notes. Do you guys feel how nice it sounds when we stack all of the elements, the leads, the ARPs, the pads, the atmos? So basically what happens is that you have some, maybe some melodies, some stuff over here, melodic, and it stacks with this one, especially when we have the same notes. We get like a pie. So as you guys can see, we have this layer, it's a background. We have this one, it's the foundation, and we have this one, which is the main melodic loop, the vocal, whatsoever. The idea, the concept is that we stack different elements with different sound characteristics in order to get a more interesting and a more complex sound. So I think you agree with me that if you have something like this, it's a bit boring than if you would have, maybe something like this, and like this. It's more complex, right? You have more layers. You have this one, you have this one, and you have this. So this is why we are layering different sounds, because we want to get different sound characteristics from each sound, lead, effect, pad, whatsoever. And now, guys, let's talk about these small filler elements. So like this one, and with the kick and the bass. And here as well. And I have one more sound, one more really, really cool sound. And I have this guy over here, which sounds like this. It's like a reversed sound. So basically what happens is that you have the main loop. So it's black, that is the main loop, right? We have this one, and you have these fills, and let me play you one more time. So this is the red fill I have on my picture, on my diagram. And the purpose of having these fills is to make the transition from one to another, so this one, right? From here to here, because without the fills, it's just going to be a bit boring, a bit empty. So that is the purpose why I'm adding these small little melodic fills. It can be effects, it can be atmospheric sounds, it can be anything basically, but it's good as long as you get the concept why you are adding these fills into your track, into your loop. And the last thing I have here is the vocal. I have layered one low. So if you look here, it's just the same vocal as the original one, like this one. I just have two layers to make it more deep, more powerful, and more interesting. So listen carefully to these fills, how they make the track more interesting. So I'm going to play it for you. And one more important thing here, guys, is that I'm automating the filter, so I have a space for this sound, the oud. Because without the filter, the frequencies of the ARP and of the oud, they will clash. So listen carefully now. Right, and now with the filter, and you can really create a lot of movement, a lot of interest in your track with simple automation, even with just a filter. It's crazy, but it really makes a lot of sense. And now, guys, let's talk about the drums. So the name of the genre, organic house, it just speaks for itself because it's organic. We have organic elements, and here I have a lot of organic elements. And let's start with the percussion loop, this one. I already want to move to this beat, and now let's add some claps. Now let's add some hats. For the claps and for the hats, it's just a regular beat, just the usual claps. We have some variation at the end, like this. Just, you know, to add some movement to the beat. And the claps, the hats, and the percussion loop. Yeah, it already sounds really cool and really interesting. I like it a lot. And we have the shakers here. It's the loop I've had in my previous tutorial. So basically, it's just about the same thing. So I have the main loop, which sounds like this. And I have additional layers of shakers to add even more grooves. So now, guys, listen carefully how these elements really add more to the groove. And with the clap. And basically what I've done is that you can see that these are the main drums. So in this case, it's this shaker, right? And the red ones are the additional elements you layer on top of your main drums. So you can experiment with the different grid, for example. So you can have 1/16, you can have 1/16 triplets, you can have 1/8, basically just any kind of grid you want. So you want to combine different rhythms, different grids, and this will create a more complex, more interesting groove for your drums. That was everything for today, guys. Let me know what you think. If you've liked the video, if you've learned something new from this organic house tutorial, please subscribe to the channel, like this video. Don't forget about the notification bell so you don't miss my future videos and important news, and leave a comment below. Let's talk. And just a quick reminder, guys, the registration to my coaching program is open. So if you're serious about your music career, if you want to become a full-time music producer fast, without stressing, overthinking, and spending years on figuring everything out yourself, you can claim your seat today. Just go to the landing page and register there. And if you still have any questions, you want to talk with me, maybe you need help with your music, there's one more link. Just book a time for a free strategy call, and I'm gonna help you and teach you everything I know, and I'm gonna help you to transform your passion for making music into a real business. Thank you very much, guys, for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.